Welcome to a session on the essay Pitfalls of National Consciousness. This would be the second part of the essay. So he continues talking about the national bourgeois. So he says that in the meantime, the former colonial power takes less trouble. See, they are actually still holding power over these people. There is a new leader who comes and divide the national bourgeois from the rest. And although he's supporting the Westerners, he is hiding it, and through his impassioned speeches, the people are fooled that he is actually working for us. And many nations, they have implemented such rulers, Fanon says. They usually come from the country and they swear they speak for the black masses. And the leader, they placate the people and refuses to break up the bourgeois. And he works for the bourgeois, which is not known to the peasant masses. So the peasant masses, they live the same way, they continue the same way, they are impoverished and hungry. And the police, he also talks about the police, the violence exerted by the police harass them. The rebellion in the meantime is losing patience. All those, figures who worked for the freedom, independence, they are only needed in festivals and parades of Independence Day, he says. And the rebellion, which was quite crucial once, they become parades and festival materials. And absolutely nothing changes in such scenario according to Fanon. Only thing that changes is the oppressor. So from the European oppressor or European colonizer, it is the national bourgeois who become the new oppressors, and peasant masses are still oppressed. And Fanon implies that the national bourgeois is the enemy of a developing nation. So inside this new regime of state, corruption abounds and morals are non-existent. And the National Party helps to keep the state in power over the people, and society is increasingly anti-democratic. And the police holds everything together and they are trained by the foreign experts. So this is a colonial system even in the absence of colonial power, according to Fanon. And the state is simply run like a colony, and police, even police has got tyrannical power. There is police violence, there is no equality. And the opposition to the National Party, it becomes more apparent, and hostility towards the national bourgeois grows, but it affects the national bourgeois very less. And they are the national bourgeois, according to Fanon, is only concerned with Europe and the European powers. So there is a dissent that grows in the nation, and the army is dispatched, turning the society to more authoritarian. Okay, you can look at the recent events that are happening around the world. And the national bourgeois has learned nothing from the history. And what he calls these newly independent nation is a caricature of Europe, simply a caricature of Europe. What is a caricature? A cartoon. So simply a funny image of, which is a joke of the Europe. So by trying to adopt European ways, Fanon says that the new nation is destined to fail, and they are concerned, bourgeois are only concerned with very small middle activities. They are not ready to grow, and the tertiary sector being nationalized. And what happens is that the whole tertiary sector is only held by the young national bourgeois. And the tertiary sector is the most important by far under colonialism, and the civil servants sabotage the national economy and institutions. So buying and selling again must be done democratically, according to Fanon, and the nation must be educated politically. So the next thing that he talks about is the political education of the masses, which should be done in a simple language. And then he also talks about how political parties, the nationalist political parties, follow a sort of dictatorship where other political parties cannot go against them. And they turn such political parties, nationalist parties, they turn into intelligence agency where they get to know that if someone is, going against them, what do? They are rooted out. These people are silenced and banished. Okay. And they are sent back to their caves, which means that they are no longer allowed to speak for themselves. And so the potential upset, anything that would potentially upset the status quo would be silenced. So which isn't really an idea of being free. So once again, Fanon claims that for all the fighting, suffering, and struggling, the nation really hasn't moved on far from colonialism. So if the nation wants to progress, they will need an honest party, according to Fanon, which is not working for the people, but working for the people, but not for the government. And he also suggests that it should never be a situation where the governments are centralized. It should not be one point of government, it should be spread. And the government or the parliament or the people ruling the nation should be actually in rural areas, according to Fanon. So, in completely dismantling the colonial situation, Fanon suggests the changing everything, including the idea of government capital in a metropolitan city. Okay, so rural areas should be given priority, and these leaders, they should move to rural areas having more access to the peasant masses. And they will not be ready to do that, obviously, Fanon says, because they won't leave their Western lifestyle. And the peasant masses, they are capable of governing themselves. If they understand the political issues. So again, he talks about the importance of political understanding or political knowledge. So then he talks about the racist colonial assumptions that these peasant masses can't understand anything. Only if they are taught certain things, they would understand things. So, but they are not given that chance. And he says there is a racist colonial assumption that the peasant masses won't understand anything. Okay, so the young people, he also talks about the importance of having young people of an underdeveloped nation. They should be kept away from the corruptive forces, and they should be given more importance or chance into the decisions taken. And he says that we shouldn't look for a hero or a leader or one party alone. We should look for things that elevate the people of a nation. And he also rejects the idea of sports. They often offer up one member or player as the most. Just like sports, there is always one hero or leader. Just like that, we cannot have it. It shouldn't be one person. It should be an egalitarian. This egalitarian viewpoint should be fostered instead. So he talks about decentralizing the government, giving political knowledge to the people, and the peasant masses should be mobilized in the developing nation. The army must be nationalized, and the militia should be strengthened. And building the nation should be the first priority. Fanon claims not building an army, which he implies is far more priority in Western societies. People are valuable to the nation, and the nation is all about the people. And to Fanon, it is not a political idea. So, in an underdeveloped country, the national effort must always involve people. So, the collective national consciousness should be the motto. So, without that, there won't be chaos or oppression. And in short, Fanon claims that the way of national bourgeois is dead end. So, if the nation, it does not exist for the people, it is truly a nation which again only leads to neocolonialism and continued oppression. Thank you.